I was gonna get set up, but I got met with the terms and service. Payout of earned credits. Seller may submit a payout request to exchange their earned credit. Wait. Upon receiving a payout request, VR Chat will decide in its sole discretion whether to offer a seller a payout and the amount of such payout. In general, a payout will be equal to the amount of earned credits reflected in the payout request multiplied by the current exchange rate. They literally made their own VR currency, which will have an exchange rate, and they probably can change it anytime, minus any payout transaction fees and subject to the limitations and requirements per the CE. Rules, okay, you must satisfy all the program eligibility requirements. You must have at least 30,000 earned credits in your account. Okay. Well, I want to read it, but this is really hard to navigate. There we go. You must not have initiated a payout request in the preceding 2 weeks. When you submit a payout request, VRChat will review your payout request. Okay. Credits that are directly purchased. Okay. Payout requests. Payout requests can take up to 30 calendar days to process. We may impose a limit on both the amount and frequency of your payouts based on the age of your account, your history as a seller, and your compliance with the terms. This is interesting. What kind of rules and regulations are there on separate currencies that can then be exchanged out, especially when it comes to selling of goods? I'm very curious as to their obligation with this. Like what are they liable for? Because at this point there's a lot of maybe like Bitcoin and shit. No, they just made a fake currency. It's not like it's backed by any like dollar or anything like that. No, this is just like literally their virtual currency that, just like gotcha games, right? But like it sounds like sellers can sell stuff within the game using their in-game currency, and then the sellers can cash out their credits at any time dependent on the conversion rate at that time. But like conversion rates are decided, we have laws and things, and conversion rates like are subject, there's a whole thing, and then you go on the online, or when you go through like a place to exchange your money, yes, that happens, but like how are they calculating it, and when do they calculate, and how frequently they can calculate? That's interesting. VRChat alone has the authority and discretion to determine if your request will be honored. So they can say, nah, chief, my credits now. Wait, what? Really? So they can deny your request to get your credits back? In addition, okay, they're starting, this is VRChat, you need to be careful, bro. I mean, I love VRChat, but this is as a banker coming in this, I'm looking at this going can they do some of this? I get it. For example, banks have things that they can do, they can hold your funds depending on certain things, but I'm assuming they're working with someone, right, that making sure this is all on the up and up, because this is a lot for a TOS when you get met with at the beginning here. This is a lot. Yeah, so we're sitting here. In addition to our CRM established agreement says you must meet to their satisfaction and be able to receive a payout. Upon submitting a payout request, this requested amount for the payout will be deducted from your account pending approval and processing of such payout. In the event your payout request is denied or the payout is otherwise unable to be completed, the deducted credit balance will be restored to your account. We may not be able to remit payments to certain countries, entities, or individuals because of legal or other considerations. Right. Credit exchange rate. The current exchange rate for payout is $0.005 US per earned credit. So there's their conversion rate that can change at any time. So how does that change? Who deduces it? Is it backed by anything? And seriously, these are things that you would need to know, bro. Okay, seller transaction fees. Okay, this is fine, whatever. 15.3%. I mean, I'm that seems kind of high, but what do I know? Will be applied to any sale. I would have to look on. Let me look. I'm actually curious now. It's just what's this CE? It's just a accredited, certified. It's just certified. Just think of it as a certified. They're their partner is certified in whatever they're certified in doing. I was looking up. I was looking up. Payout transaction fees will be assessed when you initiate this piece. So such fees will be deducted from the amounts paid to you by VR Chat or RCE partner, right? So they have some sort of payout partner that they use. Who knows what they're. I don't know why they're not citing it here though. Transaction fees vary depending on. They're just using some company to facilitate their charging is all. Let's see. You are responsible for ensuring that all payments received, blah, 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 are reported proper tax. So you receive any income you receive and that you have to report it. Okay, makes sense. Income that minors earn can impact their parents' tax returns. VR chat shall bear no response. So basically, you're letting kids interact with your currency system because you love it when their kids have access to the parents' credit cards to buy the credits because you need them to further the economy on. Right, makes sense. Okay. By the way, this is just me spitballing and having a good time. This is not the truth or reality. This is just me poking fun at the terminology because terminology is wishy-washy at best, even if it's ironclad. All right, let's look at it. Let's keep going. VR chat shall bear no responsibility with withholding. Yeah, that's normal. Okay, but I just don't know why they're getting into it. We may require you to have current IRS form W-9 and other documents on file with us or our CE partners. So they are. Wait. So like, how are you housing all this information? That's a lot of sensitive information. Like, how far are they going into this? So they are going to be So they're going to be a seller. They had to get a license for this. They had to get some sort of digital selling license, I'm assuming. Yeah, VR Chat is doing V-Bucks. Yes. All payments made to US users. Yeah, whatever. Okay, that's standard. Okay, so me. I skipped the whole beginning because I got to the bottom because I just wanted to skip through it and I was like, this is a lot of shit. And then I saw something about fucking currency and I was like, what's this? And I was like, okay, interesting. Read more. Enhance. Yeah, VR bucks. We got VR bucks, basically. Well, all right, so I'm assuming all this stuff is just normally blah, blah, blah jargon. Yeah, these terms, which include copyrights, SDK. Okay. Yeah, these are all just... Oh, my God. Something about claims? Why is this all caps, though? We're in the capitalization. Okay, they really want us to know about this capitalization part. All parts of the platform and all materials and content available through the platform, including any user content and seller content, are provided as is and on an as available basis without warranty or condition of any kind, either express or implied, to the maximum extent permitted by the applicable law. The VR chat entities disclaim all warranties of any kind, whether express or implied, relating to the platform and all materials and content. They just don't want to be held liable for someone fucking shysting you, quality of goods that you get. Hey, you pay $1,000, $2,000 for a model and it's shit, or maybe it turns out to be fucking stolen from somewhere. Yeah, not their problem. All right. Any warranties arising out of the course of dealings, usage, or trade, the VR chat entities do not warrant. See, this is great because VR chat gets to keep their money. They get that 15.3% per transaction fee, and they can have deniability when it comes to reselling of stolen goods. Smart. All right. Let's see. Yeah, they're taking 15.3% per transaction. And this whole clause here is just saying, and we're not going to be held liable for any shit that happens when that transaction, whether it goes bad or what. They still get their 15.3%. Nice. If you cover your purchase or exchange, VR chat credits or otherwise arising out of these terms, only 15%. I think that's high in my personal opinion, but but I don't know. I would have to actually look. I don't know. I'm way out of it when it comes to things. I'm like 10, 15 years out of it, so things changed dramatically since when. Why the extra 0.3%? Just makes it around 15 or 16? Nah, dude. Well, the exchange rate that they're doing is 0.005%, 0.005 USD, right, per credit. So if you have 30,000 credits, oh man, I don't want to do math. Someone please with a calculator. Because they're using that as an example. You need to have at least 30,000 credits in your account in order to get a payouts. What is that? All right, hold on. All right, I'll do it. I'll do the fucking calculator. All right, so you have to have 30,000, 1, 2, 3, and times 0.005 USD equals. You need to have $150. You need to make $150. Or what it sounds like, if you want to get your payout, you probably have to, you're going to have to, you can buy credits. So you can buy credits and then you can buy credits and it'll go into your EC. Wait, is EC, hold on, let me go back down. They're calling them earned credits, aren't they? That would imply that, and you can buy earned credits. So if you can buy credits and you can sell to get credits, that means that if you want it, so say somebody gives you $50, but you're not going to get, all the money, you'd then have to give them, you'd have to buy $100 worth of VR bucks to then get your payout, which wouldn't make sense because then you're paying 15% on the $100, right? And does it happen on conversion or does it happen on payout? I think it happens on payout. So on conversion, it's straight. Is it straight conversion? Do I get straight conversion 0.005 at that time conversion rate? And so that means technically your VR bucks could go up. If they're saying the exchange rate is variable, that means this is like an asset. How? I don't understand how it works. How does it fluctuate? If it's like an asset that fluctuates and the exchange rate changes, what changes it, first of all? What are the conditions in the environment that make the exchange rate change? I just don't understand that part because, like, there literally is no economy here. But I guess maybe they're going to have some sort of... maybe they're trying to literally start an economy. Okay, so they're trying to stimulate a new economy, in which case they're going to pay attention to how much money is going in and out, and then that's what they're going to base their exchange rates off of. Okay, so then that means technically your earned credits could go up in value depending on the time. Right. So, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. So you could hold your e-credits until this number goes up. So say, hey, you know what? I believe in VR chat. This is only going to go up and up from here. I believe that's going to get to $1 one day. That means... So if you had $150, okay, right? So you had 30,000 credits, and then now it's worth $1, Chad. You got $30,000 as opposed to $150. All right. What's happening is I don't understand how. So basically, they're introducing VR bucks for VR chat. Has an exchange rate that's variable depending on when the payout is processed, and they're calling it a credit exchange rate, right? Because it's obviously not a foreign exchange rate, right? Because we're not like exchanging currency. This is the VR exchange rate versus like the USD exchange rate or the fucking whatever exchange rate, right? VR chat is introducing an in-game currency. They're creating an economy. They want to sell digital goods via their platform. They want to take 15% of each transaction. They will not be held liable for any stolen goods that are sold on here, but they'll still get their 15%, and they're going to have a variable conversion rate depending on the time. So I'm assuming... I'm going to be honest, I've never seen someone go this far into it, but I'm assuming they got all their shit in order. Like they're on the up and up because this is without transparency, this could lead to, people could potential to lose ass, bro. Can you imagine you sold goods on here and like the dude paid out, right? Say they sold it to you and you made $100. All right, but for some odd reason the exchange rate tanked the next day, or it takes 30 days for processing, and you don't get the effective exchange rate, and so now your $100 that you thought you made is worth $20. Dude, I would be livid. And they took 15%. I would be livid. Holy shit. All right, well, anyways, end of that. What else did they put in here? I didn't see much else up in here that was like any... I'm assuming there's something. For purposes, general includes, or this is just verbal jargon. Verbal jargon. Yeah. We reserve our right to change the terms. Yeah, I know. I hope you do. All right. VR chat, third-party platforms, and link VR chat may provide tools through the... All right, whatever. I think all the rest of stuff's fine. I'm assuming. Well, damn. Hey, Gerbalizer, thank you for the primer. 73 months. Ayo. I mean, I guess continue. I mean, effective... Oh, again? In order for you to have access to the create an immersive experience and launch new features, we must collect information about you. +1! Oh. Woo! Wait, what? We have updated our privacy policy to provide new details about the... So they're going to collect my private information? Wait, what private information? Are you gonna know who I'm ERPing with? Huh? Are you checking out on my privates? We may collect a variety of personal information about you or your devices from various sources as described below. We indicate whether and why you must provide us with personal information, as well as the consequences of failing to do so. Bro, consequences of failing to do so? What kind of verbiage is this? I hate this. Personal information you provide to us. When you register... When you register for or use the platform, we may collect personal information about you, and we may link this personal information with other personal information about you. You may provide us with personal information in various ways on the platform. Registration and account information. If you sign up for a platform, we ask that you provide an email address, date of birth, okay, and allow you to create a username and password. In the future, we may ask that you provide additional information that we will associate with your account. Okay, so you know how old I am. Okay. Payment and billing information. If you choose access to parts for our platform fees, okay, all right. Purchase or subscribe or take extra features of the platform, become a seller, or request payouts for VR chat credits, you may be required to provide... Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay. May be required to provide personal information to third parties such as gaming platforms, example, Steam and Meta. So they're... most likely their third-party processor is tied to them. I don't know why they're not naming them. And VRSet, creditor, economy partners. Okay, all right. Those third parties may send your personal information to payment processors who will okay, yeah, that's whatever. User, whatever, uploaded image. Certain platforms features may allow you to upload image for use in your profile for the platform. If you utilize features, you should not upload pictures that can be used to identify you. Well, no shit. If you sign up, okay, job application. If you apply for a job with us directly, you may provide us with your resume. Full. Oh, are they hiring? Personal information we collect when you use the platform. Usage. We collect or infer personal information about you based on how you use and interact with the platform. So you do know when I toggle on my penis. How dare you? He's been in there for 2 hours with that sword toggle on. God damn, he must be at war. All right. For example, we may create a profile associated with your account that will allow us to apply your previous expressed preferences and settings. Okay, well, that's fine. That's the new thing that they added, where it remembers like what you use and how you use it. Movement information was access to the platform through VR chat. We may collect information about the physical movements of your fingers, hand. Yep, they know exactly when you're humping. Dude, they know exactly when you are humping air and when you're grabbing titties, because that is a very easy to identify movement. Dude, if that's all logged, dude, that's easy to identify. Oh, Fred's at it again. He's been humping that air for a while now. Why have they had their mouth open for fucking 3 hours? Jesus, what are they doing with their hands? Eye movement information. The eye tracking feature is enabled. We collect information about the locations and movement of your eyes. So they know when you're looking at that penis! They know! Okay, for clarity, we only receive data about the relative position and movement of your eyes from your headset or other hardware. We do not collect or scan your retinas to get... Okay, Yeah, Information collected via automated means. We may use your IP address to collect general information about the physical location from which you are connected to the internet. We do not collect... Okay, nice, thank you. I appreciate that. Personal information we receive from third parties. Okay, whatever. I don't care about this anymore. I think I'm done with this. All right. Meeting early, we must provide information. Vendors and... Okay. We allow people to read your information, etc., etc. All right, yeah, standard stuff. I don't have a choice. If I want to play the game, I play the game. I understand that if I use certain devices... Okay, I have understand, update, I consent. I consent! I understand that I use... yeah. And there's... I consent to VR chat... Wait. I consent to VR chat's collection of this information to animate my avatar as well as other... Wait, what? I understand that if I use... certain devices to access the platform, VRChat may collect information about my physical movements, including the movements of my eyes. I consent to VRChat's collection of this information to animate my avatar. Oh, they're explicitly saying we use this to animate your avatar. Well, no shit. As well as other... Okay. It was just confusing, okay? It was just confusing. It took me a second to understand what that verbiage meant. So interesting, we got an economy now. That'll be interesting. Sorry that took so long, Chad. I wasn't anticipating running into, I guess, yeah, VR chat is establishing itself as a functioning VR world. Wasn't the economy thing something already? I had heard talk about it, but I wasn't anticipating... Okay. I mean... Hold on, let's continue to talk. I'm in VR chat now. Alright. Do back scary and love yourself for me and you. Ha blue, blah blee. All right, there we go. We're set. Scene. There you go. Cool. All right. Oh, shit. What up, Chad? It's me, your boy Chippu. We're here, live on this fine evening. Yeah, TOS really took my goad there. Wasn't anticipating that, but it seems VR chat economy is coming our way, Chad. I'm excited. I can't wait. What are they gonna sell now? Avatars? Penises? Vibrating toys? How about sexual services? The bar is this far! And we're about to cross it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if that happens? Dude, we'd be canceled in 2 seconds. I could see it now. New seller... Have girlfriend experience. That's what it's going to be titled. You can pay me 50,000 e-credits for e-girlfriend. And then, I mean, it's taxed by 15%. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's a digital good. Everything's right? Right? It's considered a digital good? Excuse me. I'm not gonna discriminate. Digital boyfriend is also here for 60,000 credits. Whatever you want, whatever you need, we got it. Dude, I feel like that guy from like Dusk Till Dawn. I can't even say it. Man, it's so vulgar, I can't even say it. I was going to do the line. I love quotes, and I used to do that quote all the time. So, in Dusk Till Dawn, if you've ever watched that, it's a very vulgar vampire movie, okay? And I love myself some vampire movies. Look at me, I'm a vampire myself. But it's a very vulgar vampire movie. I forget, God, who is in it? I forget. But anyways, at the very beginning, isn't it Banderas, right? And Salma Hayek and Tarantino, Clooney. Okay, it was Clooney.
Plus one.
Yeah, Cheech. It was Cheech. At the very beginning, he's introducing everybody. Come on in. We got, and if you don't like what we got, fuck it. Sorry, I can't say it, but yeah, it was okay. I'm going to be honest with you. By the way, I was reading the news and I heard, it was all on like the big legacy media as well as Twitter. Supposedly, a mom recently got arrested because their 10-year-old son walked to the store. I guess it was a mile away, and the sheriff saw the kid walking, and the sheriff decided to, inquire, and they went back to the house and proceeded to arrest the lady. Now, of course, it was just like not a full arrest in jail, but there was some prosecution. And in that little video that we watched, it is illegal, according to that person, negligence. And I was like, man, my whole childhood was a lie, dude. I walked to school every fucking day. Every day, Chad. I walked to school. Yeah.
So old.
What do you? That's not an old thing. I walked to school. Why isn't that a? I lived close. It was about a mile. Yeah, I would say it was about a mile walk. I walked to school and I would walk back. It was not a big deal.
Through the snow.
No, not during the snow. They would drive me if it got like bad, but it's like it's nice weather. Why wouldn't you? I mean, and sometimes it rained and you had to you had a fucking umbrella or whatever, but it's like fine. And it was fun. You walked with your friends. All your friends were with you. You're like, ooh, I'm going blah 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 blah, and you're like, hey, I'll join you. I'll walk by your house. Hey, all right, bye. And then you go back to your house. It was fun. Shit was fun. Here, come sit. Sit. Yeah. Right there. Or right here, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you used to walk with my friends? Yeah. Dude, I used to get in crazy battles when I was with my friends, like, all the time. So walking home, like, all of a sudden, like, it was actually hilarious. One time someone pulled over and thought we were, like, actually throwing down. But me and this kid, we were walking home and, like, we would just start roughhousing. Like, throw down the backpacks, throw each other off the fucking... what are you doing? Why you gotta bite me? Throw each other off the fucking side of the fucking mountain and shit. Roll down the fucking... I say mountain, but the hill. And then you roll down the hill, and then, like, you're fighting in the little pits. I say pits, but, like, we would fight in the little... What are they called? Gutters, right? They weren't, like, bad gutters. They were just, like... Sewer little things off to the sides. Yeah, and there was, like, a walkway that would, like, go up above them, right? And then we just fall down. Yeah, it was just, like, whatever. Canals. Yeah, there were little canals. But, yeah, one time somebody stopped by, and they were like, you two, stop it! Stop it right now! We were just laughing. We were just having a good time. We were roughhousing. It's like what kids do. We're just boys being boys, bro. Bam, 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 bam. I don't watch too many action movies. I used to watch I'm gonna date myself, but it was a karate movie with these kids. I mean, I was a kid, so I loved it. It was
Karate Kid?
I did watch Karate Kid, but that wasn't as. It was these 4 kids and they wore masks, and they were like, God, what were they? I can't remember the name. Three Ninjas. That's the one. Yes. Three Ninjas.
I don't know
Yeah,
that one.
dude. Oh man, my childhood, dude. Dude, I got hyped from that shit. I would. Oh man, my hip tracker. Hold on. Oh no, it's gone.
No.
It's just gone. I just had it no more.
My mom showed me Karate Kid, and that one was like a little bit older than me, for sure. But my mom
well,
used to show me
yeah.
a bunch of old movies all the time. And so I watched the trilogy. Wasn't there
Right.
like 3 Karate Kids? It was a good trilogy. I liked it.
Karate Kid was good, and I enjoyed it, but honestly, it was a little too serious for me. The reason why I like Three Ninjas is it was made for a kid. Like it was like made like it was just about these 3 boys. I was a boy. You know, I was a young. How old were they? They were like
Right.
10. Yeah, they were about 10 years old, right? Like about 7 to 10 age range. Like these little like shits, and they were learning karate, and like yeah, it was just like very relatable for me, right? So that's why I liked it. Yeah. You obviously gravitate to the stuff you relate to, and obviously a young little rambunctious boy who likes karate. That was kind of me. So yeah, the slogan for the movie was "If Karate Kid met Ninja Turtles." Exactly. That's why I loved it, dude. I love Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that was the actual slogan.
Well, they were like, that's how they were like selling it, the selling point, right? Makes sense.
If Karate Kid meets Ninja Turtles in a theater coming towards you, 3 ninjas.
I was actually talking with Chi-Chi, and it was funny. We were talking about, like, as a child, we used to do, like, plays in the backyard. Like, because, right, you know, we didn't have technology back in the day. Back in my day, there wasn't technology. We didn't have no computer, no video games. No. Well, anyways, we were, so we were recording, just doing plays, right? And I was actually laughing because, like, literally the plays were like, I was a knight, you know, and then there would be a king, and then there would be a princess, and then you'd have to save the princess, and like it would be a fantasy theme. And I was like, hey, nothing's changed. I've been the same person since I was fucking a little boy. Back in the day where you had to use your imagination to have fun. Yeah. I'm trying to find a good spot for this thing. I don't know where the right. You gotta stop your eating habits. Stop it. Move over a smidge.
I'm not eating. I'm just nibbling.
Officer not. Whatever. Hold on. Whatever.
That's like love bites.
Ari! Are you around, Ari? I saw you were in chat. If you down, I'd be down. Come on in! It's time. Yari's around him. They were around today. Oh, you're getting into your spot to be an actual... Good point. I'll set it up. You know, totally did not... This is our trial run, but I really want to talk about next episode because we got a lot of stuff going on.
I didn't know you... Yeah. Let's go.
Wait, how do I pin? Why do I suck at all this? 2. Okay, and then I got this one. Yeah, wait, how do I... Okay, that one. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How do I... Okay, then I gotta go focus. Behavior. Okay, smooth. Anchor. Okay. Now I just go
Colliders.
like this. What happened?
Nothing. You have colliders everywhere. I tried to like
I'm sorry.
space myself somewhere and then I couldn't.
I'm sorry. I failed. Alright, got it. Perfect. Alright. It's ready for you. Bam. Easy. Meant to be. Ah, yeah. You know, I will say though, Looking at this, we need to make these a little smaller. These things are massive. It's like bigger than... Yeah, it's just massive.
Finish that sentence?
No. No. You know what? I need music. What kind of music should we have?
Like video game background, Minecraft music in the background,
Okay.
or talk show background, talk show Minecraft lo-fi. Is that a YouTube search?
I
feel
will
like that's
literally
what it's
search
a
that up.
YouTube search.
Okay, say that again. That was a mouth fucking full. Holy shit. All right, I'm ready. What was it?
Minecraft lo-fi.
What was it?
Talk show?
Yeah.
Talk show?
Minecraft. Lo-fi? Okay.
And then if that 3 doesn't work out, then you can substitute like any of the others, like Minecraft lo-fi or talk show lo-fi or
Minecraft.
talk show Minecraft. Yeah.
What is Lost in the Craft? This is somber.
Talk to a lo-fi. I almost couldn't say that time. It's almost
Dude.
like say that 5 times fast.
Is the V the name of the podcast? No, but that's actually funny if it was. It's like The View, but the V. That actually makes
Genshin lo-fi is nice. Oh, dude, so
Genshin?
that would work too.
All right, Genshin
apparently somebody-
Lo-Fi.
yeah.
All right, and then and I could even
Red,
put it up
Red
on the.
says that Genshin lo-fi. That they listen to that.
Okay.
It's real.
I see Genshin Impact Lo-Fi 1 hour.
Perfect.
Do we put it on the screen? Hold on, let me see what the visuals look like. Oh. I mean, it is kind of pretty.
Sonic lo-fi? Ooh.
Alright. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Ooh, I get to use this thing. 1 second, Chad. Enter video URL.
Dude,
That didn't do it.
The Bernice song stuck in my head. Bernice.
Ah. Okay, this is gonna be a little... I have to look at the screen and hit Control V at the same time? This is ridiculous.
I want to learn the Bernice dance. And then I was looking at some Bernice avatars. There was
Okay.
still okay one, but one with more talks. Yeah, specifically so I can do.
You
the
gotta be
Bernice
kidding.
twerk.
There we go. Did it. Did it.
Yeah, I do like their, especially with some of the new world updates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Genshin music is pretty good. Like the one area that's based off of like French or the France area, forget. But a lot of those songs, like the classical music songs and stuff,
Right.
they're real songs.
Okay. I think I got it. Nice. This is chill.
Wait a second.
What?
How do you turn off world music?
At
Your
the
world music already going.
you just respawn at the thing there. It's mute music.
Okay.
I should just remove it for this world. Not gonna lie, you're a Genshin hater? Fair. I mean, I get you. I like Genshin. I actually really did like Genshin. I will say it's slow as fuck for me. So that was a little bit of an issue. But other than that, it's still good shit. You know.
Okay. Ethics.
I knew I'd figure it out eventually.
Ah,
Which
welcome!
teleport was it? Hello!
Welcome. How are you?
This chair is way too low for my butt. I'll have to just sit on the bed.
Fair. Well, you're looking shiny.
Yeah. I need to use my actual personal model more often. I'm always in my RP models.
You mean you don't change out that often?
I haven't gone on a whole lot outside of RPs a lot lately, just because I'm, like, tired all the time.
So what RPs are you doing these days? So I obviously know AA, but...
So, the ones that are currently active right now, so, I was gonna say... AA has Saturday, Eden Lost on Sunday, Wardens on Mondays, as well as occasionally I'll poke my head into Metaverse on request.
What's there to do in
and
Metaverse?
Tuesdays. I mean, I've done that for a while. It's just that I maybe show up in Metaverse at like maybe once every like 3 to 4 months.
Do you play
Which,
yourself,
granted,
or were you playing a different character?
no, I have a number of characters that I do. Mostly just one that was one of my first characters I'd ever played, and then another one that's specifically on request as a support character for someone else.
Man, that's a fucking tight schedule, dude. I mean, AA wipes me out.
I have like Wednesdays through Fridays off at least until once Neon Divide kicks back in, then I'll have Fridays taken up again. But that's pretty much me maxing out my schedule, because I used to have it where I actually did have something practically every single day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Never again. I never want to be that booked again.
Man, well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's probably hard to bounce between the RPs when, like, something major happens. At least it would be hard for me, because I'm so wrapped up in shit. Well, at least I do. I get so...
It definitely is, especially when it's a bunch of things where it's all inspiring model work at the same time.
True!
I try as hard as physically possible to avoid having to open Blender, specifically. And I think the last time that I opened Blender on my own to, like, do something myself was me making, just to add a blend shape to Risei's neck so I can make her head explode.
Well, I mean, that was kind of funny watching it pop like a balloon.
It was. Really sad for those in the vicinity. However, it was kind of funny afterwards.
But now, luckily, your head is regrown. But now we have other problems at the academy. Dun dun dun! Yeah.
The darkness is back and it wants seconds.
Yeah, no, this has been kind of crazy. The whole roots and the whole 9. Yeah. Honestly, it kind of saddened me a little bit.
The thing I'm curious about is, are those roots going to be permanent or something? Because, I mean, if that is, that's like a massive landscape change and, like, feel to the campus.
Right. I mean...
Because it's going to be a constant reminder that, you know, things aren't the same anymore.
Yeah, no, things are definitely changing, and I mean, that's why I guess I'm feeling sad, because I know things are changing and they won't be the same anymore. And I mean, what's the word? We're like, you know, when you go to school and like you go to school and you're like, man, I hate fucking school. I can't wait to get the fuck out of this shithole. and then you graduate, and then it's 10, 20 years later, and you're like, man, I wish I could go back to fucking school,
Yeah.
man. See my friends.
Nostalgic.
You just go back and do that shit. And
It's that
started-
nostalgic feeling of like the wonder that it was when you experienced it for the first time,
Right.
before it kind of like started to change feelings, before it became routine at some points. Like now,
Right.
that like people are jaded, people are like they've had experiences and like they know like okay, yeah, shit could suck here sometimes, and it's only going to get worse. But like you go in, like people getting off the totally never existed bus, and be like, whoa, this is so cool, this is so neat, and like they still had hope in their eyes, and now we've crushed it.
we're all jaded motherfuckers now. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't really see much happy.
Oh yes.
Nah.
I 100% agree.
I mean, we saw an inkling of it, though. Like, this isn't really spoilers, but, like, a group of students, as you know, you were part of it, went a little rambunctious in their investigations, and it was quite hilarious, not gonna lie. But I was literally exclaiming to chat, "This is how you defeat the darkness! This right here!" Yeah.
Wait, was that how the end of the episode last session went?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with
With
the
us,
students going out of the
Did you
barrier,
know- did-
and then
Did you? Oh, right, that part. I thought you were talking about the part where we were like, "Hey, go check the library." Walked in on them.
oh god, that was great too. All of it, that stuff right there, dude. I was dying. I was dying, dude.
Yeah,
you guys were literally getting
oh my
close to the
God.
clues, and like they were just like,
Kay set us up for failure. Kay did us dirty.
Kay had no clue. Okay, listen. I actually thought you guys were gonna get some more clues, but like I had no idea that they were there. Instead of them
Yeah,
cucking
and then
you,
we
you
got,
were
like-
cucking them.
And we got awkwardly chased out, and we put a sock on the arcane lock, so like it's okay. Everyone else will know.
Yeah, there was probably a couple more things you guys could have gleaned, but that was the best outcome I could have hoped for that.
We could always
Yeah.
go back and look later. I'm sure like people are like,
Right.
yeah, let's go look when they're not cuddling. But yes, the end of it was. I know they were probably watching beforehand to like set that up, but like it was really funny that it was actually called like they're gonna be waiting at the edge of the barrier, like their hands on their hips, like what are you doing? And like literally that's exactly what I was like, no, fuck this. I'm jumping off the cliff. I'm going in the water. They can't follow me. They have armor on.
Oh my god, yeah. People, but
I'm-
Academy and people in armor doesn't seem to stop people from swimming.
Yeah, but I can swim faster than them, so it's okay.
Okay, well, true. But you don't wear armor. You're just slime.
I don't. I'm very hydrodynamic. The only one that's faster than me is Ellie.
All right,
Because
so
they're literally a fish.
I have to ask the real questions. So, how is Slimo feeling now that we are losing more and more of our students?
Oh, it's absolutely devastating. That's honestly so the entire breakdown of events that happened on the day that the GMA came back, and there were people that she was really happy to see because like Maggie was one of her really close friends from the GMA arc that wasn't one of the returning students. So things turned out pretty well that day. But then she kept getting hit with just bad news, and then bad news, and bad news. And it was at that exact moment that, the darkness came by. I was like, hey. And I'm sitting here like, oh, this is the worst possible time for you to be doing this. Oh, no. And then they had to go and pull something really mean on her, which was that they learned that she can't be tempted with power, but she can be blackmailed with the threat of being the reason that other people suffer. And that's why it pretty much actually almost hooked her. And the only reason why she didn't end up stealing the relic was because Ellie and Arashi came in the room right before she was about to like snap and like just go for it, because it it was winning. Like Finn's spell wasn't helping enough because they hit every single thing where I was like, yeah, no, that's I don't know if people were there or not, but at the time that there's like, I asked like, did you do a roll for like how well that like spell went? And it was like, they said, yeah, it was a flat roll. I was like, do it with disadvantage. This day has not been good for her. This is the worst possible day that they could have done this to her. And it's things like that. They're not planned. Like, well, I mean, people leaving, I guess, like they had their own plans, but they weren't coordinated with each other. People didn't know that fact. People didn't know it was going to be like
snowballing,
just one after the other.
Yeah.
And honestly, it would have been even worse if it had been last episode, because there's been that like effect, like people keep disappearing. How am I going to be able to like keep watch over them if they're so far away? And while she understands that like people are saying it's not goodbye, it's see you soon,
right,
she's still grappling with the fact that outside of the academy and the places we've been, she has not seen anywhere else in the world. They might as well be going to a completely different planet for all she knows. So that
it's
idea
tough.
that people can leave feels really ephemeral and overwhelming for her, because her entire worldview has been curated because she had a purpose for existing and she doesn't know how to live outside of that.
I was thinking about it the other day. It's kind of crazy actually to think about how there's really not that many people left from the original cast from year one. Most of who we got is like we got like a handful, but like the rest are year two.
So when you say original cast, are you including the people that came in part way into year one but like weren't there day one?
I include anybody who made it in year one as kind of the original cast, because they were there for just the ending of year one, I guess you could say.
Right. What, like when
and they were part of the
real
shenanigans.
Signs of the big stuff happened.
Yes. Well, because let's be honest, like at the beginning of year one, we really didn't do too much.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, because I mean, back then, like my first day with you guys was the finale of the Crypt mission. Like that was my first day actually doing stuff, and then it just snowballed from there, because then it was like, yes, time to be an elemental carrying a key to opening the door to darkness.
Yes.
And we were so ready for there to be a team fight that they just didn't do, and we're like, oh, I was hoping there would be like a punch out.
So you've been here now for a long time. Has this been going how you thought it was gonna be?
I mean, there are still times where I think back to like around like right before year 3 started, where I still got completely floored. I was like, hey, there's some student slots opening up. If you're interested. And I'm just sitting here like, wait, what? Because at that point, I still didn't really think that, because I didn't really have a whole lot of like, I guess, main cast experience in any roleplay. So that was something I was wholly unprepared for. And considering how out there of a concept I came in with, which was not even my first original choice, it's just the original idea I had in my head as a, it'd be kind of a cool what if sort of thing. I sat there and was like, this seems really, really basic. I'm going back to a drawing board on this. And I didn't think something like that would actually work, and yet it's become a very satisfying character to play at this point in time, because it has so much potential to go with.
I think for Slimu, like Finn's when Slimu started taking off.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I liked playing her up until that point, but she was still in that sort of state of like she didn't really have it as an in-character experience, a thing that really defined how she viewed the world and how her upbringing ended up making her look at things differently than other people around her. And it was ultimately Kaz reaching out to me in DMs being like, hey, there's going to be a lesson coming up.
Right.
Are you okay with me picking you on purpose for like a demonstration thing?
Yeah.
It's going to be really rough for that character. I want you to, can you sell that? And I was like, don't worry, I got you. And
Okay, curious. Because this whole thing, like, derailed, right? You know, remember that whole, like, we were going down the path of civil war. We were literally at each other's throats. Everybody was about ready to throw down. Their lines were where were you? What side were you on?
She was very firmly on, in terms of, like, civil war against the CAF or not sort of thing.
Well, remember the whole academy was like half, like, they thought people were compromised. They thought students and teachers were compromised.
Like, murder people.
They were gearing up for like actual confrontation. Like this was going down. I believe our professor Albrecht had his little army at the time, his arm, and then he had his group of people that were listening to him at the time, and I'm assuming that was part of it. And
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't on the same extent where it was like Linux, where he was kind of like almost trying to find evidence that they were doing that stuff to like call them out on their stuff they were doing. But she was definitely on the side of not wanting that sort of conflict to happen, and if it came down to people basically like, you know, committing. I believe they were referred to basically as treason squad. She was very firmly on the not committing treason side. Now, obviously, at the end of that arc, she absolutely did commit treason. Now, granted, it wasn't her choice to do that.
Right.
She was 100% under the control of the darkness during that entire engagement. And the thing that really makes me wonder is, if Hoshi wasn't there, she probably still would have been in that state by the time the other people got down there, and that would have probably changed the scenario immensely, because the saving grace for her was that they never saw it. The only ones who saw it were the initiates.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is because, like, you know, and chat brings it up too, and there's like this dissonance that's happening lately, right? Like, we don't trust the CAF, and it's kind of rearing its head again, and like there's like this push for like civil discourse right now. And even though and it's probably spawned from Fallbrook, right? There was a couple clashing of ideals, and but the question I have is, do you think that is just trauma from the people that were involved in that older parts? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't see it from any of the new cadets that we just transferred in. I don't see any of that hostility or that fracturing of like, ooh, those guys are the bad guys. I only see it from the group that was part of the Albrecht, the Civil War, that whole arc. They're the ones that kind of have that doubt and fears and like discord. They're the ones who have that festering on the inside, right?
And those who were around for when Headmaster Akiyama was still around,
right?
Because he had a very those who were close to him, he had a very overt at times, like anti-CAF that isn't us vibe,
right?
And admittedly, it doesn't help that there have been examples of CAF individuals who were like that, but on the flip side, there have also been CAF individuals that are, at least, they have not done anything wrong to warrant any sort of, like, you know, suspicion or like distrust towards them. It's just that their affiliation alone is that much. But like, yeah, most of the newer people from, like, I'd say, like, basically Risei's generation onward of like students, any anti-CAF sentiment was entirely from basically squad influences and interactions with other people.
Right.
I don't know if there are any that overtly went down that path, but I think more of it is more people having like greater loyalties to each other than the institution.
Yeah,
Since
right.
there's definitely signs of that where they're like ride or die with their friends, and if it's between their friends or the royal other people, they would pick their friends every single time, no question.
Right. Do you think they would? So, the CAF founded the school, and its main premise is to, protect the world against darkness. Maybe have a leg up when the time comes, but also keep it under wraps, right? Do you think that the school as a whole has the right mentality on how we view ourselves compared to the CAF? Because, like you said, there's like some distinctions and lines being drawn, but
honestly, this is a personal point of view, so it's obviously a biased point. It's not the end-all be-all truth, so in case anyone here is like, no, you're wrong and you should feel bad, this is literally just how I view it, and it's just like a mix of Ari and a mix of Risei answering. I feel like there's a lot of people that seem to think themselves a separate entity from the CAF, and thus think that what impressions the CAF has are not necessarily ones that should apply to them because, quote unquote, we're different. And I mean, yes, they are a very unique branch of it, tasked with something that no other branch of the CAF is, but they're still the CAF at the end of the day. And a lot of times I think there are moments where people forget that when it comes to the way that they present themselves to people outside that umbrella, because their actions reflect upon the CAF as a whole, and they're just incredibly lucky that nobody has done something to the extent that there is no undeniable way to avoid just severe consequences having to be passed down solely because they have to save face. We've come really close. Most recently, there have been some things that have really towed that line, and it's a matter of how do we reconcile this in a way that's fun for the roleplay but doesn't,
it's true,
lessen the severity of what happened. And I do not envy the DMs for having to figure out that gymnastics problem.
Well, that's fine.
But it's it's interesting because I mean, in my character's perspective, the term I use for them is that they are a ward of the CAF, but in a technical sense, she is kind of their property. She is research property, and
Slimer specifically is what you're referring to, yeah. Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has some degree of roughly recognized personhood that is
property of Nara stamped somewhere.
It is a designation given to her on behalf of her affiliations with the CAF. If she were to say just give the CAF the finger and try to break things off, one, if she could even actually get away with doing that, she is not legally recognized as a person. There's that is one line that I distinctly wanted to make sure was a thing that was known about the character, is that, and her specific nature of the race and the circumstances that are in there, is that unlike, ones where it's they're not a person because people just never ran into them and so they don't recognize them as that, they think they're just monsters. No. She's a species that is widespread across the world, and nobody has ever looked at them as people before because they don't do people things.
Nope.
She's weird.
Yep.
So she is reliant on the CAF to actually exist as a person. So she, of course, cares deeply about making sure that, that distinction is upheld because she is very reliant on them for that. Even with some people that have given offers of like,
Right.
our people will be
It's almost
different,
like
but it's like,
their parental unit in a way, in a strange way. It's like this: your mom
yeah,
was
I mean,
part of the whatever in the Nara, and then they were part of the CAF, so that's grandpa. So I guess I guess I
yeah,
can kind of see it. Yeah.
yeah. I was going to say, I mean, yeah, no, her. This is stuff that has come out on POV stuff before, so I don't mind talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just her mom, like her quote unquote father is also a member of that project, because, and the one that she for a while was a bit afraid of because of difference in perception of how things are happening makes some things come off as really fucked up, and they still kind of are. But I say this I say this, that she is a flawed narrator in this case, and the only way that that would ever be able to be reconciled is if people ever manage to interact with the other side and hear it from their perspective. And I mean, some have through letters, but
So I have to ask
it's
a
one
question.
of those things where
There seems to be some dissonance now since coming back from Fallbrook against the CAF and a little bit with the professors. I'm not sure all the way with the professors, maybe a little bit. And why do you think that is? When it wasn't necessarily the CAF necessarily who did anything in Fallbrook.
when it comes to Fallbrook specifically, it comes back to that one conversation that had been driven into the dirt over and over and over again about, did they do the right things in Fallbrook, specifically, the full moon thing, because that was a decision that kind of
The plan.
started. The plan, TM. Because I think that's the one that most heavily drove a lot of that, like, post-mission sentiment, because of just how severe the backlash they received from it was, where they ultimately didn't really gain anything that they didn't already know, or at least, and they just didn't realize that they had already known it. Because that location that they went to wasn't one that they had not been to before. The group that was there before was there before. They just didn't go far enough to be able to confirm information that they could bring back and not rely on all that other stuff. And it was ultimately that chain of actions that occurred, and then the resulting backlash and the amount of basically politically bending over backwards to try to fix it for people, because they couldn't just solve it. Wasn't a problem that could just be solved by getting rid of a problem. It had to be done in a very specific manner, because every action they took reflected on the CF, and the opposition knew that. And to some degree, I think that probably made some people resent the banner that they were having to be under, because it was hindering their actions. And ultimately, there was like, I think there's probably a little bit of sentiment of, if we were just able to do things the way that we're used to, this could have been resolved quicker or something. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. As for the teachers, that I don't entirely understand either, but I think that's just a lingering, like, the early teachers were one of those things where, like, early on, I guess there was just some sort of, like, I guess the way some teachers treated other people instilled an early on I think it's a similar sort of thing of, like, how the don't trust the teacher sentiment came from those who were like,
but we're not just seeing
is,
don't trust as teachers, we're also seeing a little bit of disrespect about not even necessarily respecting their decisions or even some of their calls. Like, this is as the teachers are literally trying to put them on the same playing field. They're saying, hey, you are like us, like,
so
we don't have much left to teach you. You guys are like veterans now. Why do you think then it's getting negative?
There's a very specific phrase that comes to mind that was like a quote from a song that I only know because of a game, where it's when you when you get what you want, you don't want it at all. And I think that's kind of what people are. There's some people that are getting exactly what they said they wanted, which was more autonomy to make decisions. And then realizing that with that autonomy comes having to shoulder the blame if or when those things go wrong.
Right.
And there's some belief that that a lot of the things, like going back to the plan TM, the idea originally came forth not from teachers but from students. And while it was then presented to the rest of the group by a teacher, ultimately the overall discourse started by and was mostly dominated by the students. And it was the students' decision in the end that came up to the vote of what to happen. And then it comes down to, should the teachers have intervened, or whether or not they felt like they could intervene, or it's a matter of, I guess, being angry that they're. To me, it felt like there was a lot of people being angry that they were getting exactly what they wanted. And I'm not going to name names because I honestly can't point to any specific instances, and I'm not.
We're just
here
going
to, like,
general
put
feelings.
anybody
Right.
on roast. This is just how I felt about it.
Right.
And then I think just, with the way that things are going just in the world setting, like, it almost is like with the state of the school grounds right now is an obvious sign. Like, darkness is rising in the world, and like people's behavior is almost reflecting that, where they're becoming quicker to anger, quicker to snap at other people, quicker to say, fuck the bonds that I've made with you people, I'm trusting myself and only myself, ride or die sort of things. And it's it's kind of like a sign of alarm that, like, there's some people that are starting to reflect the very thing that they're supposed to be fighting against. And it's not a sudden rapid change, like someone touching a crystal and getting corrupted and just being like, I'm evil now. It's that gradual descent into disunity and like distrust of each other that goes unnoticed because it's so slow that it just feels normal.
All right. So you talked about unity. Now, we've had many periods in our time where we've, like we said, we've almost been on the verge of civil war. And some of those feelings are starting to get brought up again. They definitely less than what it was, but we had a period of time there between like that last horrible arc and like maybe the beginning of this year. It's been relatively good. Like, for the most part, but Fallbrook fucked us. Literally, Fallbrook fucked us.
Yeah.
That's when we divided. Like, I'll take some blame here. Chips put his neck out on the line and really drew a line, and honestly, he created a huge divide, and it did make a lot of people ask questions. So Chips can take some blame on that, but Chips
he's
isn't
not
holding.
the only one responsible for that, though. Like,
I mean,
yes,
he's responsible for his actions. Like he was. Chips fucked up. Like I could say it here. Like he should have had help. He should have done it a different way.
Made the divide.
True,
The
it does
divide
take
was
everyone,
result
right?
of multiple people, some leaning into things, or some people using other people's actions as an excuse for why theirs didn't matter at the end of the day, when they absolutely did. Everything was a sum of a whole there. There's very, very few, if any, people that were free of responsibility in some way
I think
for these things
this
breaking
time,
down.
everyone is convinced they were doing the right thing. And so because of that, this was the first time there was no like real apology afterwards. Like, hey, I'm sorry about this. It was like, no, I did it and I had to do it and I'll do it again. And everyone was pretty much set in that. There was like maybe some of the people were led one way or the other during that like big, we have to make a decision thing, but there were distinct camps.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking from my own perspective of like how there was that, what was being witnessed was a feeling of almost what's the exact term I'm looking for? Developed hopelessness, where the feeling that they got was basically some people feeling that their feelings didn't matter, and so they just got swept up with other people. There were a lot of people that like spoke up against like basically saying we should not be doing this thing at all. This is a bad idea, and
Right.
they felt like, and there was that developed hopelessness just from how they felt like they weren't being heard, and rather than stick to their guns, a lot of people, Risei included, basically folded and said they're not going to listen anyways. Why should I try to push to make change? And she was like, I'll speak for at least Risei. She was absolutely wrong to do that. She should have stuck to her guns. Even if it didn't ultimately change the outcome, she would have felt better about it because she at least would have been on record saying that,
Right.
what her true beliefs were, instead of just basically during the operation when things started going absolutely south and downhill rapidly, she was just going about very pissed and angry.
Okay,
And
what
there
do you
were
think
other people
happened
like
in that
too.
meeting? Okay, since we're talking about it anyways. That meeting was crazy, right? Like there was obviously people disagreed. There were people on both sides. But then there was this group in the middle that really didn't have an opinion one way or the other. They were kind of just looking for to be told the right decision. And do you think that those people learned to find their voice, or are they going to forever hide it?
I honestly don't know. I think that's a thing that's an individual, like,
We saw Gavin. Gavin's
what's it?
getting his
Yeah,
voice. There's a couple people who are
yeah.
getting it.
Yeah, Gavin's getting his voice. And I mean, to an extent, Risei is too, at least when speaking up when she feels like something is wrong, although it's being done in a different way. Somehow more recently, I mean, like with what she actually was willing to speak up about. So cute, so small, tiny little Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi screen time. Let's go. Um, but like the people that didn't, what that meeting was is those who had a established very dominant social presence where they're able to command a room really well were the ones that ultimately were able to have their points heard, have their points acknowledged, and not crumple when challenged, or in some cases told to just let go of something instead of just pushing room. Like, and part of that I think is just with how long that scene went on. There were some people that were legitimately just
Oh
fatigued
God.
and were at
Oh
the point
God.
of they were just willing to say
Yep.
whatever they needed to
Please.
get it to end.
Fucking hell.
It was
Yes.
actual torture.
Well, that was the big decision making moment. Everyone had to be. They had to voice their opinion. Like this was no longer because this was our transition mission, right? We were trying to transition you guys to like this is the first time you guys kind of have a little bit more autonomy. You guys are making more of the decisions. You have teacher oversight. It was because it's all right. Spoiler alert, and I've told you guys this. Because in the future, it's not going to be as easy. That was like the whole point, right? We're preparing ourselves for our future selves, right? Or our future
that was
missions.
like the first point, like in an RPG where the message comes up on screen.
Right.
The decision here will heavily alter the outcome of the story.
Dude, it did so crazily so.
And but like there were people that like early on in that meeting, there was a lot of back and forth between people that clearly were for it and people that clearly were not for it. But over time, those who were speaking out against it, there is a pretty shared feeling among a good few of them that they just felt again and again that their points were being continually talked over,
it did feel
ignored, and giving a lot more floor time to those who were already for it. And then one of the main criticisms of those who were against it later on was, well, why didn't you guys speak up with the things that you had that you felt weren't going to be favorable for the plan, and
Right.
their response was, "We tried to."
It just wasn't
And
glorified enough. I'm unfortunately okay. People say that they don't like it when Chip speaks passionately, but there's a difference between passion and anger, and I say passion is perfect. You need passion. Passion gets your point across. Like if you're sitting there dead to the water saying, "No, don't hurt those people. Don't do it. No, say no. Don't hurt them. Don't do it. This is bad." Oh, sorry, Chi-Chi. Sorry. Cover your ears. Don't hurt them. It's bad.
People react to emotion because that's what we're wired to react to. It's the more, I guess, present someone is, the more that they get heard. Whether or not it's in the way that you're hoping for or not is another matter, because at that point that comes down to personal interpretations of feelings and all that other stuff. And well, we all know where that went when that meeting basically ended up exactly how people thought it would.
Right,
and then,
right.
Chips said that little thing and walked off about, "I'm not supporting a bunch of murderers," or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote.
Something, bunch of murders, yeah. Definitely the bunch of murderers was in there, yep.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter what
that.
was prefaced or came after. It really doesn't matter.
But it's it was a very unique way to show just the differences in, and the thing that's going to be most interesting to me now is when we have our next major mission, a lot of those very strong personalities are not with us anymore.
Right.
Like,
it's going to be
those
interesting.
people that are most outspoken, the people that often got turned to as the de facto voice of authority, they've gone their own ways.
Right.
Which leaves a very big, I guess, social power vacuum. And I'm really curious
unfortunate
who's going to step up to fill those shoes.
Yes, because what's unfortunate with that, and I can tell you now, just as an outsider playing Chips, is when it comes to certain things, Chips is great, and when it comes to other things, he's just Chips. But the unfortunate part is, yeah, we don't have our group. How do I word this? I had a plan originally, and after Fallbrook, I had the plan. The plan is no longer, because of circumstances. But now, yes, that same question has been plaguing me because, for example, I mean, Chips is a good pick for a lot of things, but a lot of people will not follow him for a multitude of reasons. And some could say valid, some could say not valid. And it doesn't matter. If you have that kind of discourse, it doesn't matter. You need to be unified when it comes to certain things. That makes him the least objectable choice. Now, if he had other people with him and he had a team, then it would work. But unfortunately, now our balance is kind of skewed because Chips had opposition, right? You had logical versus emotional. Chips was very emotional, very passionate. And then you had Stark, right? Logical, very looks at the facts and, okay, how can we do this, this, and this? Both are needed, right? And both sides of the same coin, both are needed to make informed decisions, right? Because one might not see what the other doesn't, right? Because they're valuing different things. But super important. Now we're missing one of the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, out of those who are still around, who would be the most likely to even feel like that sort of need for a more logical, grounded perspective that isn't some emotional bias is okay. Right. It doesn't need to be bereft of it almost.
Right. But can you imagine Zach and Chips? I mean, we're two emotional beings. You can't have us both. We need balance. Balance is important.
Yeah.
It's super important. Now, I would have to change
Zach,
Chips if I wanted to play it, but
yeah, I think Zach is emotional, yes, but not in the same way that Chips is. They are different sides of the same side, I guess.
They both have passion, we'll say that.
They have passion, but it's directed at different things.
Sure. Sure. Which can
And
be helpful, which can be, sure.
and I think ultimately it just comes down to those people that felt like their voices were unimportant or otherwise mostly silent. This is the time for them to try to find their footing as someone who can actually speak up, because
Right. Yep.
more voices are needed at the table, especially now, because the people that normally drive those conversations and like give them that comfort where they didn't need to speak up aren't there anymore, and
Right.
they're going to have to fend for themselves, because otherwise if they wait for somebody to step up and no one does it, they're going to drown.
Well, I can say this because it was said in character. Kay has been saying that, they've been looking into things and structure, and there'll be some changes as we're operating more like an army than as opposed to like squads, right? Like, because let's be honest, like we use our
Right.
squads as a basis to like have it, but the way we've been like Fallbrook and etc., we're now starting to get into these big battles.
It's very rare. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very rare that squads operate solely on their own as a squad.
They work as a function and a rendezvous point, but once we get in there, we're literally back to ranged frontliners and then our flankers, and we're literally just sticking and moving.
They're solely division of it's dividing the load of leadership across a number of fronts, and the whole idea in the past where it was like, well, what does each squad do? Doesn't matter, because those squads were never defined by a specific role. And I mean, maybe they were a long time ago, like early year one or something, but over time, the distinction between squads literally came down to what color are you wearing.
Yeah, yep. Hey, they gave you people to
some of them
go
did
to.
ultimately build a niche. They built a niche for themselves, but that's not as a result of the slotting of those squads. It was a matter of the actions and choices of those specific people. Like Vanguard became known as like the frontliners, and it's not because they were all put there on purpose as you guys are frontliners. That's just
their mentality.
That's just what happened.
Their mentality and how they operate as a squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like we Ignis turned into flankers. Yeah, we became flankers. Like that's our job. We stick and move. We move. We're fast. We hit hard.
I was going to say not just flank. I would call them. They were basically they turned into like specialists.
Strike forces. Yeah.
Doing the odd jobs and like the wild harebrained ideas where it's like, hey, let's jump off a cliff on top of this thing.
Yeah.
Ignis was the first one to think of that.
Yeah. Flanking. Yeah, basically we used opportunities to maneuver around the main army to present advantages, yeah. But that's also because we see them too, and that's what we excel at, right? So everyone excels at something.
Right.
And they've now niched it because it's been they've trained it now, right? Like, and AV is almost like medical squad. Yeah. Like they became handled the back end. They're decimated now.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who are they?
Medical in general is a very interesting thing right now, because I don't think it was until, we lost Arbor that people really realized how immensely they relied on the people that actually have the ability to do magical healing.
And we don't have much.
There were only 2 people free at sometimes, but 2 really heavily specialized healers, and one of them is gone now, and the other one is physically getting overworked to the point that people are literally practically killing them by getting hurt.
And I will say this, I prefer it this way. This is amazing, because healing wasn't supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be that art that's hard. And if you heal, nice, we love you. Yeah. Kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a very interesting dynamic, because it was one of those ones where it was a single point of failure, effectively, that people weren't ready to notice until the factors came into play that really highlighted how that was like literally the one stone that if you pulled it out of place, a lot of things become very unstable.
Well, if we lost our med at like a beginning of a fight, I mean, we lose. Like that was pretty much where we were at. And you see how hard we take injuries. But that's also because we're used to having someone there that we just go back, we get patched up, and we get back out there. But if we can't do that anymore, we go back there, we say, hey, can you patch me up? And all they can do is like clean the wound, and then put a little bandage on it and say, all right,
force feed you a potion, be like,
yeah, get out there, smacks ass, get out there, champ. Like that's all you can do, really.
Oh, is that how we're supposed to heal vampires? Got it. I'll remember that.
Okay. Yeah. But
nice going, Chips.
The healing! I feel the healing! But
classic Chips scream.
We'll see what happens.
WAV.
I like the fact that there's more emphasis on heavy injury, death.
Heavy injury,
makes
people having to figure out how to make things, basically how to sometimes operate with not being able to completely heal themselves without some significant effort. And I mean, it's one of those things where hopefully it's not to the point where the medics that do exist and are able to treat those things aren't basically locked in 24/7 medical RP whenever stuff is going on. They, speaking from experience from other roles I played in the past where they were specialized medics, because I keep ending up turning into medics even when I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to be a medic this time. And then what happens? Somehow I end up in the medical RP. It's like once it gets you, you can never leave. Is that it becomes a vicious cycle of like, well, you don't want the other person's story to end because you said, no, I want to leave the medical area. And then it just keeps going and going and going.
All right, Chad, you got any questions for Ari?
Then you quietly are sitting there hoping, like, guys, please, I beg you, find some way to defend yourselves such that I don't need to be sitting here glued to your side.
True, imagine.
Stop getting your chest ripped open. Your ribs are not regrowable. I do that.
All right, so I'm being told if we don't have actual magic healers, Augusta might die. Is this true, medical squad?
Admittedly, I'm not fully versed on the exact, like, medical thing. Like, there's some people, like, the people
You're not responsible for her chart. Got it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where if you weren't really someone who had a way to help with the issue at hand, it was kind of like a... You only know if you needed to know sort of thing. And with Augustin specifics, with these sort of things that you need to do to get her okay whenever her stuff was acting up, Risei literally couldn't be near her because she would just get frozen.
Fair.
So, like, I don't think Risei could actually treat her because she would get literally turned into a block of ice. And yes, I do have that as a toggle on the model.
Fair enough. All right, well, it's questions times now. So we got a couple questions. All right, so we got question. Well, this is for me. Why don't we have the budget for more Scar-Chan screen time? Scar-Chan, can we get some screen time? Scar-Chan, you know, pay the masses.
Don't try to blame me.
Can we pay the masses?
Well,
let's get it now. Come on, Scar-Chan. I summon Scar-Chan. She says no.
Large.
Ari, what squad did you initially think that Risei was going to go into?
Honestly, it was, well, when it came from story things that were happening in there, she almost was encouraged to go towards Vanguard. Specifically to be, it was specifically encouraged to be like someone who was able to be there like as a friend for Linux. Like that was something that was being kind of encouraged of her by Silver, and she did not like that at all. Like she wanted to be there, not just to be basically, you know, in mental sense, she wanted to be looked at as more than just support animal.
Right.
It came down to basically between CT or Ignis, and then Shizu flipping her shit at her sealed the deal for Ignis. Like, I was pretty much certain that Ignis was going to be the direction that she ended up in, and not just because of the fact that we are like just easily bounce off of each other in roleplay and just commit shenanigans. Granted, that was something I was like, I hope that happens, because I would have I feel like I would have missed out on that if we weren't around each other as much as we are because of being on the same squad.
This is not
I like
Skychan.
But it could be. It's the lost part of your soul chips. You need to cling back to your feminine wiles.
Oh my goodness. See, I watched myself wear this, and yeah, it didn't look as good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can say, as someone who turned into a much shorter version of themselves, it looked really good from that angle.
All right, model appreciation day.
Dangerously so, where I had to be cognizant of whether I was looking up or not.
People asking if Risei, assuming Risei survives the end of the story, do you have any potential story ideas post?
I do actually. I was one of those things where I know there's a lot of people that basically did like sort of bring their character into metaverse already, and they're just kind of playing it off as, well, whatever happens while they are alive, they do remember. Otherwise, at that point, it's just kind of that's where the story diverges, sort of thing.
I could tell you this.
I haven't.
There's something that will happen that will help some of that for people later. But there's no, like, I mean, the thing is I'm not officially, how do I put this? I don't officially support the metaverse stuff, but like, I also know that it exists. So like, metaverse is just like a hodgepodge. Like the way I view metaverse is like, AA is its own timeline, and then shit happens, and then now it goes into the metaverse pot.
It's effectively a what if timeline.
Yep, yeah, it's a what if. Yeah,
goes...
if everything breaks and it fractures the metaverse, then that's what happens, and then it goes to metaverse. That's basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not telling anything else other than that.
I'm gonna say it. Cycles.
Oh, I know. This is the evil word. It's an evil word.
But to answer the question, yes, I do have an idea, and it's one of those ones where I've been trying to figure out when would be a good time to trigger it, because the form that the sort of form she would take in that setting is one that would be heavily reflective of what I want her end state for AA to look like. And until I have a better idea of what that's going to look like, based off the things that would need to happen for her personal story and her developments with, like, you know, the evolution plot going on, I don't want to do that and then end up finding out that my vision for where it could be based off what I know now doesn't actually match what happens then, because, I mean, her goal still is this, like, in AA, her goal is still the same, of trying to achieve that state of being that Briar told her about, where she could potentially develop a means to make magic that is able to rely on every element as a potential secret weapon against, you know, the darkness, because her body is able to handle that based off of what happens when she absorbs powerful sources of magic. She's only 3 out of 7 of the way there, and she has no leads on what to do for the remaining ones yet. So I still have a very limited idea of what she needs to do in order to do that. And for all I know, she may not even achieve that. Something else may happen. Maybe she does eat the darkness in the end, and the meme is no longer a dream. You know, we don't know.
Hey. Yeah, I have the same problem. Present day is hard because I'm supposed to do 3 present day episodes, but somehow I have to not give away the ending, which I do know what happens, but or at least Chip's part. But the problem is I can't.
You know your end goal, but if you show it off, then it ends up spoiling everything. That
Takes
led
the
up to
whole
that
fucking
point.
impact, and this has been a lot of years coming. I don't want to
Right.
fucking ruin it now. Fucking, that would be sad. You know.
Depending on, obviously, I don't want to know any of that stuff because I want to be surprised just like anyone else. But depending on how it was, there might be a way that you could spin those specific episodes to be almost like a teaser and almost like tie it into things, entice people to want to know what happened to get this to go there. But then until you're actually ready to like hard commit to doing it, you could have like in the plan, a way to basically also remove yourself from that situation such that people don't expect you to be like now suddenly around all the time and trying to, be like, yo, what happened? Where were you all this time? Is Arbor's arm still stuck behind the toilet in the bar or whatever?
So, man, it's tough. And so Chips has got a crazy storyline. So PD Chips is insane, but then again, but it's also part of AA, and I encompassed all of that with the old story. But then like, I'm not telling half of his story in AA, not even close. Like just a part, just a fraction. This is just the past, right? This is the school part.
Yeah, I mean,
like it has nothing to do with like.
I remember how AA originally started. It was originally the backstory, and it just evolved into something much greater and more encompassing than just that, which I think was I definitely think was a good thing for AA because it gave more room for a lot more stories to exist. But it also does mean that like until that part is done, trying to tell 2 different chapters of a story simultaneously without somehow making the point in between the earlier chapter and the other chapter no longer relevant for people to watch. Like, I guess what happens in here, and now I don't need to see it. It's not a surprise, and it loses the impact. That's really hard to do. And that's why I feel like the people that are doing it right now, like the stuff outside of like interpersonal relationships, a lot of things that happened in the past have very minimal, if any, bearing on what they're doing in the present stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because I mean, if they do too much with that, then it becomes impossible for any of it, unless it's very carefully crafted to basically kind of ask the question of, well, this happened, but how did that happen? And people artfully avoid telling them the answer and make them have to guess all the time.
What?
Oh my god, they're real.
What?
Scarchan.
Where? I don't see him.
Scarchan's a great time.
Where? Where'd they go? You lying to me? Where'd you go?
Get up here.
Wait, wait, wait.
Get up on the table. Get up on the table. You're getting some screen time. Get up there. She's real. She's real.
She exists! Oh my god! Hello, Scarchan!
Let's go.
She came out of my pants!
Well, yeah, she is your sword.
I wield with my 2 hands! My mighty scar! Ta-da! She's so cute. She is
All right,
Grace.
Chad, get a good look. This is the last time you're going to see them. For
Hubbada, Chad, look at her. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, actually, after early December, it will be about a month before you could see them again because that will be the break. The holiday break is always the hardest time for me
It
because
is.
I want to role play, but I understand people want to take a break to spend time with their families. But I'm like,
Yeah. We need a break.
but I think you guys are my family too.
Oh, yeah, right.
And
I know. I know. Well, it's good. It's always good to have a break. People are burnt out.
it's
Fallbrook burn people out,
it
and
it's
you know.
good to reset.
Mm-hmm.
But after a bit of it, I'm like, okay, I'm done resetting. I'm bored now, please.
Mm-hmm.
And
But it's gonna be fun though because tryouts now will be happening. I'll be announcing them before break, and then everyone can gear up. And then when we get back, hey man, we're gonna have so much stuff, man.
wait, hold on, back up. I actually was like,
Oh.
I missed like the first half of what you said. What's coming up?
The worst word that I could use, but it's the only word that it really makes sense. RP tryouts. So the thing is I'll explain my stance on this. We have been running signups for where you fill out a form, and what I found is the last 2 times we ran this is there would be about 60 applicants, and I would only know 20 of them, and you can guess who didn't get a second glance, and that
people that you had no familiarity with, and
right.
I mean,
so that upset me. So like this time,
yeah.
we're gonna do the signups, and then we will have the only word is RP tryouts, but it's not really a tryout where your performance here is anything. It's more like we're gonna give you an experience. You can be like a student for the day or something. You can then show me some improv. I could see you do something. Yeah, I could see. I have a name and a face.
So that you can see the people that are like really there to actually try, and those
Right.
who are just like, this seems like fun, and then they do it for like a few days and then they
Sure.
disappear.
Yeah, and they might find out they don't like it, right? And then they be like, you know what, this isn't for
Yeah.
me, cool, and that'll be fine. Now it'll be a different format. I'm thinking like I do because I need to vet people, so like
Right.
figure out what character that they're gonna spoof for that day, and then like have them show me, and then like I'll have them write up, and it doesn't even have to be the character that they play in the end, anyways. So
Right.
we're
Just
gonna have
like
some.
basically, how well can they look at the world that they're being given something to. It's more of like a test of like how willing are they to engage with the setting and make it
Yeah.
their own instead of just sit there and basically wait to be put on a rail and pushed
Right.
around.
Exactly,
Because
we're gonna get
that's
some.
one of the difficult things.
It is, and I think we're gonna get some decent RPers from. If the expectation is I come in and I make stuff happen, then hell, we need more people to make shit happen. You know what? Get in there.
Yeah.
Rough it up.
Like one of the common like things that people and I remember recently Hal had said something about it at one point in time, just like to no one in particular, but like if you sit there and rely on DMs to make your character interesting for you,
True.
then you're going to be inevitably disappointed because the DMs are there to augment your experience. They're not there to make your experience. People have to be able to make their own stories happen without relying on external impulses to make it possible to have fun. And the more people that have that sort of mindset of like being able to just make shit happen for themselves is ultimately what makes a lot of the fun things that we all go, man, that was really cool, that was really fun. Like
all the improv moments, yeah.
Fallbrook and Boulder Nash's party was born to be shit posting.
Damn right, and it was fun. We loved incorporating that stuff. It's fun to incorporate narratives instead of having to be like,
Don't be sometimes the best things come out of shit posting. One of my most famous storylines I've ever run in a role play was also born to me shitposting, which I guess probably means that I wasn't actually shitposting. I was actually being really geek-a-brain, and I just don't trust my own writing enough, so I have to only look at it for the lens of a joke. And
right.
Wow, damn, I just really called myself out. Gotta think about that one for a bit.
Self-reflection. Go crying.
Yeah, but
why do I treat myself like shit?
I was actually curious about if we were going to because of just if it was just like 1 or 2 people. I mean we have people around that would have been able to like fill the gaps, I mean, we have, well, in theory, we have General Squad. That's kind of up in the air sometimes too, and that's not entirely anyone's fault. It's
Oh yeah, like
literally,
we have anybody in General Squad. Dude, we have no one left.
pestilence and plague and bodily struggles are decimating some people, and I feel awful for them. Like every day, I will be on record every day. I sit there wondering if Pookie is okay because I miss her a lot,
Pray for Pookie.
and but with the amount of openings I've opened up, like it would just be like my main thing that I'm just wondering is, with all that in mind, is how that those people are ultimately going to be integrated. Because right now we're at a very interesting point in the story where it's going to be like,
and we're not stopping.
How? Yeah, I mean, how? Like, it's not like it would make if it was just like, hey, it's new student orientation day,
Right? But
also,
that's
welcome to the war-torn campus. Something different has to happen, and I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. Because I mean, last batch we had a couple that were new, but we also made it work by these people that were not supposed to ever find out about the darkness got wrapped up in it without anybody's intent or desire to. Granted, a lot of people were also breaking the rules, like, all right, guys, whatever you do, don't talk about the darkness. And what did they do? Did exactly that, which is what was fully expected, because the whole point, one of the biggest rules in roleplay is that outside of very, very specific circumstances, secrets are best kept not secret. They make it more interesting. Like, if you play secret keeping perfectly, it's you're winning, but it's just
forgotten.
Kind of,
it never existed.
Things get forgotten about. It might as well not have existed in the first place. So people leaking that stuff in a very in-character controlled way made that very interesting. And then the finale of that arc happened where they went down, they saw the door, you can't unclose that metaphorical door. And then about I don't remember how long it was, I see like a couple months later, or at least a month, some of them come back as students because, well, they know now they might as well be brought there to deal with it, because it was a very easy way to in character show why there were some people joining at such a very strange time of the year, basically.
Yeah, so we have plans for how we're going to integrate. We're definitely not stopping, and obviously it won't be necessarily orthodox, and I guess that's really the only way I can say it. But it'll make sense, and it'll feel...
Oh yeah,
it'll make complete sense, and I'm sure it won't feel weird at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I trust that. Like I was going to say, I for one am having an absolute blast with the things as they are currently going. I look forward to doing it. This the whole notice things are going to be rapidly ramping up, going up towards the next big mission. And every episode I've been like, oh man, what's going to happen next? And me sitting there and especially with this last episode, the whole finally opening up to somebody, because Kay cracked the code on how to get Risei to actually feel comfortable to talk to people. And it's not by pressuring them, it's giving the open door and then just letting them feel safe enough to approach first. And surprise, surprise, that's what she needed.
So you then think that Kay opening the transparency then is a good thing. It's working out.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, and just that one little note about the letters being called out, he could have very easily gotten her in trouble for that if he was against her doing that sort of thing, or bitter about it or anything like that. And instead did two things at once, which I said to people in the Discord, was that one, showed that he cared about how she felt about that sort of things and was encouraging her to do something that was clearly good for her own health, and staying true to her own morals, but also gave her something she desperately really wanted and just kind of had felt a little bit losing hope about, which was just a sign that someone she cared about was still, at least in some sense of the words, okay. And that act was very much a part of the reason why she then later came to admit to him, hey, I'm in trouble right now and I don't know what to do. And that decision may make whatever happens very interesting because, like I said in post-law, but you and I both know during that scene, like with everyone else, that we were both probably sitting there trying not to laugh because we knew what we were holding.
It was hilarious, actually, dude. The whole Jamie thing with the glasses is funny, and then and then you being tempted, and then like
it
you
is
guys...
interesting to me because between the two of them, in terms of like who would have been best to get it, the one who was definitely better to get it and like hide it better was definitely Jamie, and I'm glad that he ultimately was the one who did it because...
Who do you think is going to get in trouble for it? Because right now there's technically 3 people on the suspect list that would be if it was found out. Because we don't know when it's going to be found out. But
I mean, based on, unless like let's just say the darkness had other plans for whoever ultimately didn't pick them up, is that 2 people were set up so that one of them might ultimately end up being a scapegoat, and the resulting actions of what happens when that triggers is how it gets the other one. Because it wasn't a matter of, to me in my head, it would make so little sense of like, okay, I'm going to tempt 2 people and whoever is my special person, I'll just give up on the other one. They clearly want both of them. So whatever happened, whatever the other one doesn't do, something's going to happen to basically be like, psych, you thought I was done with you? Get over here, idiot.
But there were actually, now that I think about 4 people that are suspect. Okay. So you have you were? Lenneth. Yep. You have Jamie, and then do you know the 4th?
Based off of...
You're gonna laugh.
Is it Arashi?
Nope.
No? Chips?
Yep.
Well, I'm actually curious. Why Chips?
I mean, I could tell you. Would you like to know? But it's kind of out of the spoiler, but I don't think it's that big of a spoiler. You already kind of know who has the glasses, so it's like, you know...
there's a lot of stuff, and I mean, we had that like conversation like while you were working on the map, and me quietly realizing I'm kind of hearing spoilers, but I'm not watching the spoilers, so I have no context of the spoilers, and the whole concept of some very soft levels of knowing things can ultimately make the experience better for everyone involved, sort of thing. And in this case, it's one of them because I'm willing to fully act on the knowledge that I'm doing something completely and utterly wrong because it just makes sense of what the character actually knows, and I find that sort of thing fun, which is why I end up probably getting tempted by evil things in a lot of role plays because I'm willing to play things to a fault. Also, I just like being evil. I think that reflects more on me as a person than anything else, but...
Now, Chips was through dumb luck and just being clueless and suggesting, just being good. His good nature would be the one that gets him in trouble. Just ignorance.
Yeah.
Standard Chips getting in trouble, ignorance.
General stuff, but the thing that I'm sitting here is that eventually they try to test things, and the scene that I have in my head that I feel like could very likely play out is that because she went and admitted that she was being tempted and Jamie did no such thing and wasn't even really caught in the area messing with it like she was, because a lot of people were getting on Risei's case, is that they're going to think that she did do it and then was made to forget about it to the point that she gaslights herself into thinking she did do it, and that sends her down a really bad spiral that ends with her, filling a vacancy.
So I have one last question, and then I have one last question, and I have to end tonight because I did promise Chad we would do the do the movie. We're doing Arcane.
Ooh, what you want? Arcane.
Well,
Season 1 or 2.
Well, season 2 just came out. We're watching 1 first. We're just doing the whole thing. We're gonna watch the whole thing. So,
Okay.
yep.
On the Discord, I'm guessing.
Yep, on the Discord. Yep, after this is where we're headed. But my question for you is: do you
Last
think,
question.
with everything that's going on, all the Civil War scares we've had, the darkness scares we've had, the initiate bullshit, all the just, you know what, they're starting to hate each other now. Let's just be honest. All the groups are starting to get on each other's nerves. Do you think someone is going to do something rash at some point? Like maybe hurt someone or escalate to a point where it shouldn't, or well, like maybe it should, I guess.
I
But, I don't know.
think if they are, and I think it's pretty likely someone will, but I think it's not going to be something that's done out of intent, but something that is going to be done out of passion that gets weaponized and like basically fanned just enough to make things burn to where it ultimately is still their choice that they did it in the end, but it'll be something that they do it and immediately go, what did I do? And realize that they opened a bottle they can't close back up again. That's what I think is going to happen. It's not.
So you think somebody's going to do something
deliberate-
accidentally, and then that's going to be pretty much their downfall?
It's going to be something where they get driven to a breaking point that they do something, but instead of doubling down on it and just saying, you know what, yeah, I did do the right thing, they're going to do it and then immediately realize as soon as the consequences start happening right in front of them, as soon as they do it, oh fuck, what happened? And at that point, like, it's too late, but it's going to be regretted, but I don't think anyone's going to do it and like legitimately sit there and think that, you know, whatever happens is a good thing.
Okay. Just kidding. This is my final answer. Do you think the darkness is going to win?
Not yet. I'm not saying it can't.
Yet?
But
You mean it's... So you think it's going to win? No, I mean, do you think Ascension Academy is going to be successful in saving the world? Or
in the current direction they're going, unless people find more ways to actually like lift each other up and rely on each other instead of kind of snipping at each other and undermining each other's like thoughts and beliefs every step of the way, as things have been happening lately, I feel like they're on a path that isn't going to end well until something gives them a reason to have hope again. And they're close to it. I think the stuff that's like in the library and like with the ancients and such might be that spark of hope that they need. But there's a lot of people that I think are starting to feel hopeless with what.
But what if there
going
is no
on, just-
hope? And what if they are it? If they are it, do we have a chance?
I guess that depends on whether or not they are willing to make the hope themselves if they can't find it.
And I think that's ultimately where hope comes from. So this will
And,
be our
like,
battle, isn't
I was
it?
going to say, yeah, I mean, like, the story I want to tell is her basically saying, for me to have hope, I need to build it myself and turn myself into the person I need to be in order to overcome what I am most afraid of. For Chips, has all that stuff going on, like, I don't think they're going to just get handed a miracle and that's the solution. Like, people are like, we need to find a weapon against the darkness. Like, and they're thinking it's what's ever going to be behind that last door in the library. I am going to be almost certain whatever is behind that door is going to ultimately disappoint them. They're going to be like, this is it. This is what we worked so hard to find. And what they do with that knowledge will ultimately define whether or not they are ready to actually fight it.
I think the last thing I need to say, because I think people have the misconception that the story about Ascension Academy is about the students saving the world. That is not the story that's being told. The story is a group of students who are imparted the secret of something that could end the world, and they are the hope for the world. And the story is whether or not they do save the world. I'm telling you guys right now, like, there has been many ways we could go with how the story ends, right? Like, and we've kind of, what is it? As we've gone along in the storyline, we've kind of narrowed down the pathways, right? Like,
the arcs are starting to consolidate to a
yeah. So like
futures.
Yeah. So like, we didn't like. Are we necessarily heading down the deep dark path? Maybe that's yet to be seen. Are we heading down the extreme light path? I would say definitely not. So like we're kind of down, which is actually more true to the world than we think it is. We're going down this middle road.
Yeah.
And there's going to be loss, there's going to be struggle, and there will be triumph. And I think that will make, honestly, the best story anyways. So.
Yeah, and I think that the quote-unquote good ending is still possible, but it will require things to change from a number of perspectives and approaches to things going, because there's a lot of hope that the answer is going to be given to them, when I think they're going to have to find their own answer and define what they want the world to turn out like.
Right. Because I think everyone knows.
I've been saying that. That's a thing that I've said as a number of characters in a number of RPs I'm in right now, where, like, ultimately the outcome of the world is, what is the world that you actually want to save? Is it the world that it is, or is it the world that could yet be? And I think that's the thing that people need to ask.
Currently,
because that will define what they
and
need.
this should scare people, is that as a DM, I see our current route as us going down that middle road, which is a scarier route than any, because that means there will be tremendous loss, and this change this win will be double-edged, whatever it is. That's what I see anyways. I see a bittersweet ending, unfortunately, for us right now.
Rarely comes without sacrifice. It rarely comes without loss, and what comes out on the end of it defines whether or not it is worth it.
Yep.
And what
Guess
that
we'll find
ends
out.
up being is entirely determined by the actions of those who have the power to influence it.
Yep.
While they still have the means to do so. And they do.
Yep.
But they are running out of time to influence it. I think you and I can agree on that.
Yeah. Speaking of time, I could probably keep going, but I should end it here. I promised Chad, and I'm 20 minutes late. And I'm sorry, Chi-Chi. We were going to go do something, so I did this.
Honestly, somehow I feel like they're probably okay with it, because this was a really nice conversation.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was good. It was a good combo.
Very much like our conversations we have in Discord whenever
True.
I talk while you're working on the map.
Yeah. I was hoping Hoshi was going to get online, but I didn't send out a message, and that's my fault. So, Hoshi,
I mean, I will come back so we can have the Hoshi and Ari
podcast. There you go.
podcast.
Well, you know what I should do? I should definitely have Hoshi and, maybe by themselves first, and then have them for the other stuff. I think I'll do that. So Hoshi next. Huh?
I mean,
get all Ignis.
I'm absolutely down to come back and do this again. I like talking.
Hell yeah.
I like talking shop.
Yeah, this was fun. Yeah.
Give some more time for things to happen so I have more things to talk about.
Well, unfortunately, we probably could have kept going. This was like 2 hours, which was honestly, we could have probably gone another 2. We started getting into darkness, and like, man, I could have kept going. I was like, I gotta stop myself. I'm gonna keep fucking going.
Wait, it's been 2 hours? Holy crap, it has been.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours. The gift of gab is real here.
It hasn't felt like 2 hours because I'm just having fun talking to you.
Yeah, no, well, isn't that what podcasts are? We just talk. I didn't want to do this is a podcast. I just wanted to like show up and just start talking. I think that was less stressful for me.
I mean, I think that's what ultimately makes the conversation more authentic, is when it's just unscripted and there's no plan to it. It just kind of comes up.
There are a couple planned things I wanted to do with Hoshi, but I got to bring Hoshi in first. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that requires them to be here. And they've been here under the table this whole time. No.
Ah! It's true. We didn't notice the music stopped an hour ago. My bad, Chad. My bad. But subscribe.
I didn't either, so... Wait. What do you... I don't see...
Oh, it doesn't say
Wait.
subscribe there? You don't
No.
see subscribe?
Just for you.
Just for me? You know what?
I
It
see
works.
Yeah.
You know what? My
I'm,
world loves me. My world is just trying to help me out. It says, yo, subscribe to this man.
Yo, subscribe, drop your Twitch primes,
Yeah.
comes
Wanna
free
see-
with your Amazon Prime connected to your Twitch account.
You want to see more of this content? Just let me know. Drop in the sub message.
Bits, super cheers, whatever those things are, I don't know.
VR bucks or
Disposable-
E credits. Oh my god.
You don't want those, you said it yourself. Those things are so volatile, you'll go broke.
Dude, okay, I just don't understand it, and that's what makes me scared, okay? I just don't understand how it works, and because
Yeah.
there's no transparency on how it works, it makes me skeptical of it.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because
Yeah.
any bank
Okay,
has
hold
to
on.
be transparent, but this isn't.
Before we go down that tangent, I don't want to take away from Chad being able to watch our
Oh, yeah.
screen, and I feel like that's
God damn
about
it.
to be
Yep.
a
All right.
tangent.
All right, everybody, I'm standing up.
I'm on your side, Chad. I want movie not as much as you do. We don't need to have financial podcast round 2.
Yeah, true. We'll get back into banking jargon. You don't want that. All right. Well, I guess this is it. Thanks everybody for coming. You know, we should get like a little graphic that I can put up there and be like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
With like a cool like stinger or something like like music, like I don't know, like
Come on,
an
Scar-Chan,
arrangement
come
of the
here.
Ascension thing. She's kind of like right there in the middle, sort of.
Oh, now,
Okay, well.
get on the table. Get on the table. There she is. Hey, let's go. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. It was fun. And come to Discord. We're gonna be watching Arcane. My bad for keeping you guys. You guys probably started without me, or if you didn't, thank you. All right. Bye.
I mean, judging from chat, they seemed very
Oh.
unbothered by the running
Oh, okay.
overtime. So,
All right. I'm hoping we're good. All right. I'll see you guys in there. And thanks for watching. And subscribe because it says so in the back,
have a
not
good
because I
night,
ever said it.
Chad.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Before he turns off the camera.